Today I want to share with you how I passed the Part 107 exam with a score of a 98 in just 22 days. And I want to share my experiences specifically so that you don't make a lot of the same mistakes I did and that you get started and you pass this exam a lot quicker than me. And I don't mean the 22 days. I mean the months and months on end on thinking, do I really want to offer drones? Do I really want to do this? Do I really want to take the test? The FAA regulates drones, the airspace. Maybe I just won't do it. Maybe I won't offer this service. That was my thinking. I went back and forth. I even bought a drone selfie stick thing for my Insta360 1R, in which case I simulated drone shots for local, commercial clients on local businesses and whatnot, real estate listings, etc. And let me just say, first and foremost, in under 30 days, anyone can pass this test. Secondly, you don't have to spend $1, but I did buy a course. I bought a course that cost $149. I'm going to get into what I did and what I would recommend if you don't want to spend a dime, even though I would highly recommend spending the $149. Now, to pass this test, to get certified, just earlier this week, only about 5 days after actually passing the test, I got my temporary certificate. I'm good to go. I can go out and fly drones. And if you want to see me build a drone business, hit the subscribe button because I'm going to document on this channel my journey. And starting in August, we're going to get out there. We're going to try to make some money, try to make our money back, because how much does it cost? That's a good question. Before you even get started on this, how much can you look to startup costs, let's say, to start a drone business? And I'm going to jump into my screen while I talk, but essentially you're going to look to spend about $250 on this test if you take it at a PSI center. I think that's what it's called. The official testing site costs $96, and then the course costs $149. Money back guarantee. Let's get into the course real quick. Specifically, why I took it. It was $149 for lifetime access. So every 2 years, you got to come back and retake a portion of this Part 107 exam by the FAA. They create it, and I can only imagine it's going to get even more regulated 2 years from now and 4 years from now, 6 years from, etc. So I wanted this lifetime access because Greg, the guy that teaches this, may have even been a YouTube ad before this video. Comment down below if it was. That'd be pretty funny. But regardless, Greg does a fantastic job. I watched his preview. I'll go through the course here. As you can see, there's so much material, but every video is 3 or 4 minutes. Therefore, it makes it very easy to get through. Now, some of the 7-minute ones up here, like when we're in regulation, those can get a little bit longer, but it's only 7 minutes. I mean, come on, you can sit through a 7-minute video. You're sitting through this right now. And what I really love about it, and this is what I wanted to show on the actual test, is he breaks up each chapter, weather theory, for example, with quizzes throughout. And it really makes sure that you're grasping what he's saying while you're taking the course. And that's not something you get on the free route. But if you're a self-starter, self-learner, whatever, you like to do it yourself, or you don't have $150, then you can do this thing for free. I'm going to show you that here in a second. But these quizzes throughout is what I attribute my success to, as well as down here at the end, you get an FAA practice exam. You get a couple of them, but you can retake them multiple times. And now the 2 practice exams that I took, I got like a 96 and a 90, I believe, on those 2. And then I got a 98 on the real test. Even though I found the practice exams, and this whole course has a test bank of over 300 questions, I took them all. I found the practice exams to be easier than the test, but I didn't take them as seriously. So when I was there on the test, I really, really, really looked at each question, each answer, and I really thought it through. And on those practice exams, I kind of just ran through it. But that goes to show you how quickly you can go from a 0 to a drone hero. 30 days as I'm making this video, and I feel fairly confident in what Greg taught me. So fantastic professor, $150, again, 96 to take the test. But if you happen to fail, he's going to give you $150 plus a full refund. So that is the way that I liked to look at this, was because I started with Tony Northrup's video, which is well known, well respected, but I decided to buy some insurance. And what I mean by that is I wanted to guarantee that I passed this test, and I wanted a little bit of a money back guarantee in the event that something went wrong. So I viewed this $150 investment as a guarantee. Like, I'm paying $150 plus I'm going to pay the test fee, which is $96. So total, I'm paying out of my pocket to go get Part 107 certified, $250, and I'm guaranteed to get Part 107 certified. And it worked. So that's my logic, that's my thinking. He gives you flashcards, which I went through a couple of times, as well as the exams, and then the 14-day crash study guide, which is what I really was attracted to this course because it lays out in 14 days everything you need to do to get ready to go take that test. And I did that in 14 days, and then I took the practice exams on non-current days, not back-to-back days, and then I schedule my test. And because of what's going on in the world right now, scheduling the test was a little bit more difficult just because the first couple of times I went in, there was not any exam slots available. But I was lucky enough on a Sunday morning to log in, see an exam spot, snatched it up, took the exam a few days later, and in 22 days, this whole thing kind of came about and resulted in a 98. So let's go through, if you want to pass this exam 100% for free, what I would recommend. This is very important to follow these steps, and I can almost guarantee that you'll get a 70. You won't spend any money, but if you want that insurance, the Pilot Institute is probably the way to go. So specifically, I would start with Tony's video. And this is a free drone certification study guide for the Part 107. Now, it's important to note, if you don't pay any money, so I paid $149 for the course, but as a result, I didn't have to create my own anything or really do much other than show up and listen to Greg talk and do the quizzes. But if you don't pay the money, then you're going to have to do a little bit more work. So if you take this video here, he's not going to get into every little thing. Now he's going to go through the basics. He's going to go through all the numbers. And he's going to go through, just in general, some of the basic things that you need to know. And if you look at the comments, you can see down here, I don't know why my internet is lagging right here, but you'll see that many people have just done this and some of the YouTube stuff and passed this exam. But we'll wait for that to load and we'll jump on to the next one, which is the actual test questions. So this one here, free FAA Part 107 Drone Test Study Guide, answers and explanations. Now, better B-roll, he goes through, you got like 100 or so questions here, and he goes through and kind of gives you some questions as far as some of the test bank type questions. Now, these aren't the same as the questions on the exam, at least not all of them, but they are a good indicator. If you're not knowing any of these answers, you're not ready to take the test yet. Because the night before or day before, I went through this study guide, and I pretty much knew them all at that point. And that's why I knew that I was good to go. Then the morning of the test, Gary Glenn did a fantastic job getting me ready, walking into that testing center. Because to me, his is an hour 52. And he tells you some of the basic stats early on, basic laws and numbers you'll need to know. It was just a great refresher to go over this stuff. And to be honest, I think I got a couple right that I probably would have missed had I not watched this video. So he teaches, again, a free 2-hour course on YouTube. But then he tries to, I think, sell you on his exam. Let's see. I don't see where he's got it. Again, our internet's not working particularly well. Let's just refresh. He tries to, at least he mentions it in the video. Here it is. Drone Test Wizard. Order the questions. So if you want to go this route, $39, and you can get all of the test questions that he kind of references. And if you're not going to spend a single dollar, you don't have to. But if you are, I would watch those 3 videos and buy this for $39. If you're not going to go the $149 route, because this is going to get you some of those questions. Now you can look up free Part 107 practice tests, and you can find some of these, I'm sure, as far as if you want to get more questions. I didn't do any of this, but if you want to do it for free, you're going to have to do a little bit more of the legwork, and that's that. So these 3 videos is what I watched in addition to the course, but I think that they give you everything you need to know from an information standpoint. Excuse me. You're just going to have to spend a little bit more time going over it and making sure it sticks in your head. So Tony, for example, he gives you the course, but he also gives you the numbers, the facts, and the weather, the METARs, all of this stuff. And I thought Gary Glenn, at least the way that I learned, Gary Glenn went over some of the uh, METAR weather stuff right before I went into the test. He made it so that I understood and knew enough to get all of those right, even though one of the ones that I missed was in weather theory. And I think it was one of these. Uh, I didn't remember something to do with fronts and things of that nature, like when the clouds are moving around and all that. That stuff to me gets too confusing. And I think I looked up the code, I missed a weather question, and there was a couple that I was a little bit questionable on, even though I didn't put much thought into it because I knew I didn't know it. So I just guessed and moved on. And that's what you're going to have to do on the test if you run into that type of stuff, because some of these are definitions. Like, for example, nimbus means rain. I knew that. But that's very important to know because they'll ask a question like a cumulonimbus cloud. And you're going to have to know that the word nimbus rain, like that gives you the answer oftentimes. And then you got to know the different conditions, things of that nature. But this study guide here, you're going to have to elaborate on it a little bit more, I think. I mean, if you purely memorized it, you could probably pass that test. But it would be hard to memorize. And this isn't going to give you enough charts, in my opinion. However, I think you could probably find a couple of chart videos on YouTube and be good to go 100% for free. So if you're looking to pass this test, get started. There's nothing to fear. We've got the resources, both free and paid. And I would recommend the paid because down here at the end, he tells you everything you need to do after the fact. And you don't have to watch YouTube videos to do all of that and cipher through people like me who waste a bunch of your time. Greg just lays it out for you right here quite easily so that you can follow it. Now, ultimately, I wanted to share my experiences, my thoughts. At this point, if you're still watching, I'm highly appreciative of that attention that you're giving me. And I want to get into the fact that I put this off for such a long time. I put a lot of fear into it. I gave it a lot more power than it deserved. And if you sit there, I had so much fun, to be honest. This is boring stuff. If we're being just completely frank, this is not particularly great material. But I had a lot of fun doing this. So I treated it like a challenge. 22 days. Realistically, I said, I've got to get this 13, it's like 13 or 14 hours. I got to get this course done in 2 weeks, right? So that's about, an hour a day, give or take. And realistically, a lot about an hour, 15, hour, 30, somewhere in there per day. I showed up. I did all the work. At the end of the 2 weeks, I'll be honest, I had my days where I went to there as far as the FAA is concerned. But at the end of the 2 weeks, I felt pretty confident. And then I went back through those 3 free YouTube videos, which I started the Tony one and realized that this wasn't going to be enough. So I bought the course, took the course, then I did the YouTube videos at the end, and it was like a refresher. Perfect. Just absolutely, absolutely perfect. Because it reiterated everything I learned from Greg in the course. Now, Greg teaches you more than you need to know, which I think is fantastic, but some people might view that as a weakness if all they're looking to do is pass the test. So he teaches you more than you need to know. Then these free YouTube sources got me ready to walk into that testing center and take the exam. And I don't have a mask on my desk right now, but you had to wear a mask the whole time. So I didn't want to be in there too long because it's not that comfortable. Even though masks are important, you're sitting in there, a lot of people in my testing room, and you're just not comfortable during the current situation. So I'm glad I had prepared. I would recommend you getting this done sooner than later, and we're going to see if it's worth it. So like I said, investment-wise, we're $250 in, plus $1,000 for the Mavic Air 2. So we've spent, give or take, about $1,300 in the past month to add this to our drone repertoire. And now we're going to bring this to market in the month of August. And if you're a local business along the Carolina coast, I would appreciate the opportunity to work for you, to give you some aerial photos, videos, and things of that nature, because I got to make this $1,300 back. And if you want to see me do it, hit subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Hope this video brought you some value. Again, I can't recommend Greg, any more from the Pilot Institute, $149, gets you guaranteed results. And if you want to do it for free, best of luck. Let me know how that works out down in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.
People want to talk that talk in reality. You have not seen me in action. You think the come up comes overnight. You ain't behind the scenes. Trust me, these things don't just happen.